like we're making some pie. Apple pie, my favorite.
Yes,
Yeah,
everyone's
we have the flour,
favorite.
we have the apples, we have the butter. What we don't have is something to roll it with. Do you have a roll it? Ha
Oh, yeah. That's nice.
A wee bit of history, because I got to tell a wee bit of history. So the rolling pin, don't quote me, but it's sort of like about 900 years old.
Okay.
And it was just a round tube. Starts in Sicily, which makes that sort of part of the world, pasta, pizza, etc. And it stays unchanged, sort of like this, for a long time until I think it's 1870 something. Some Afro-American says, "Well, why don't I put an axle through it, where I can hold my hand stationary and do this versus rolling it in the palms." But I turned that out of we think things are primitive, but on a treadle lathe that we built, and that's green ash, and I didn't even use sandpaper, so they knew how to do stuff there.
Have you used it yet?
Yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay. I thought I was going to inaugurate it.
No, you're not christening it, but I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to get out of your hair, and I'm going to wait till the pie's done.
Awesome.
And then I'll be back.
Sounds good.
All right, so Kim, what we have here is 1 pound of flour. I just weighed out. This is our extra flour, pound of butter. We're going to use that Hannah Glasse recipe, which is 1 to 1, 1 pound of butter to 1 pound of flour. We'll mix the flour and butter together, leave a little bit out.
Okay.
We mix it into a dough, make it crumbly, and then we can always add a touch of water, just a little, just enough to bring it together. And then we're gonna roll it out. They're gonna take some of this butter, slather it on, fold it in thirds, roll it out, roll some more butter on there, fold it in thirds, roll it out, do it that way, and that way we'll get our flaky crust.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this could make up to 4 pie crust shells, but we're gonna make it a little easier on ourselves. We're gonna do 1 of the pies with just a top crust, and then we'll do 1 of the pies with the top and bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's enough moisture in that butter that we might not need to add any water.
No, I don't.
That'll
think
make
so.
it shorter anyways. Anytime we add water to flour, we're getting gluten, which can make your dough kind of pasty. What we want is flaky. And we're gonna get that we're gonna roll in that butter. So that butter has a lot of water in it, and it also has that fat. So when it hits the hot oven, that fat explodes, that water expands. And so we're gonna have a layer of flour, a layer of fat, a layer of flour, a layer of fat. And when it hits the oven, they're gonna expand up, and that's what's make our flaky crust.
This is not usually the pie crust we make.
It's just hot. We got melted butter. Yeah, it's a lot nicer here in the shade, isn't it?
It definitely is.
Voila. Beautiful.
Nice.
What I'm gonna do is take your finger, pinch it like this, and then push down on it.
That's for the baker.
You can do on that too.
Really?
Yeah.
This looks pretty cool.
I know. It looked good.
We're gonna put a top crust on anyways. You won't see it. Sorry. Okay, so this is one for the top. So what we need to do now is the filling. Okay, so what ingredients? We have maple sugar.
Maple sugar. We have our flour. We have the cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove.
Yeah, those are those general spices that we're going to use. And then what else do we
And
have?
some water and rose water.
Oh yeah, okay, nice. Rose water is always really good. So what's your game plan here? We have
Well, that's
enough
the
for
deep
2 pies.
dish
Okay,
pie,
deep dish pie.
and that will just have the top crust, right?
Okay, we'll make this the top crust for this one.
And thanks to Peter finishing that crust out, we have the bottom crust ready to go.
Okay.
So hopefully, I think we have enough apples for
Of
both.
them. And then are we going to add butter to it, or are we going to add butter after it? And like the period, they do it both ways.
They do. I know. I usually like to layer some apples with the seasoning already mixed in and put dabs of butter and then layer it again. But like you said, they did it both ways. But I think I'm going to use all that spice.
Okay.
Well, let's try that.
All right. Yeah, a lot of these recipes don't have great measurements for apple pies. You know, it's like, hey, take some apples, cut them. Some even say to stew them first. You know, that we could cook those apples down into like almost an applesauce, and then do that. Or just put the raw apples in. You know, add a little rose water. You know, some sugar, sometimes no sugar. You know, sometimes sugar on top, sometimes butter afterwards. I mean, they're all over the place when you're looking at 18th century apple pie recipes. I think everyone kind of did it their own way.
And it depending on the sweetness of the apple,
Right,
you
good
know,
point.
like I like to mix 2 different kinds of apples, so you have that kind of sweet and tart, and then I basically taste it after adding the sugar because some of them don't need as much sugar.
Right. Just add some of that rose water on top.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, you know, rose water is just so ubiquitous in 18th century pastry art.
Trying to taste.
I trust you.
I think it's perfect. So it's okay to pile this up. Oh, perfect. Okay.
Hey, thanks, Kim.
You're welcome.
All right, so here's what we have. We have water, we have barm, we have salt, we have flour, a little butter, and then we have this kind of salt. And you know what that means?
Pretzels.
Pretzels, yeah. We're gonna make some good old-fashioned German soft pretzels.
Our favorite.
Yeah, our favorite. And you know, pretzels are like the sign of the baker. You know, that we both lived in Germany, and we know that like if you're walking around and you see a pretzel, that pretzel sign's been there for hundreds of years, and you know there's a bakery there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
The best.
Pretzels are like a strange concoction, you know. It's just a basic bread dough, but it has a secret ingredient. And the secret ingredient is Lye. Yeah, so I took some of that wood ash out earlier this morning, put it in here and boiled it as the oven's getting going. So I boiled down that wood ash so that we have an alkaline, and that alkaline is what we're going to dip the pretzels in, and that's going to give them that nice crust. It's going to give it that unique flavor,
Shiny.
that shine, yeah, that flavor, and then of course the pretzel salt. You know, it's a little coarser salt so that we get that pretzel flavor. So I need about a tablespoon of salt in there.
Okay.
I'm gonna put about a pint, half a pint or so, a cup of this barm in there, and that's our yeast that we got from the brewery.
Want me to throw it right in?
Yeah, go and throw that tablespoon of salt right in. You can toss it right in there. We'll throw a little bit more yeast. Get these good and going. It's hot enough that we shouldn't have to worry about it. That's probably a pint. And then from there, we'll throw in 2 cups of water. This is 2 pounds of flour, so we'll throw in a cup of water at a time. And then the butter. This is not necessary, but sure does make it taste a lot better.
Yeah, it does.
Here,
Butter
let's see.
makes everything better.
Yeah, no doubt. So we're just gonna make this up into a dough.
Okay.
We want a soft dough. Put about more than half of it. That's good. And then we'll roll them out. So what I think we're gonna do is we're gonna make this dough up just as a regular dough, and then we'll pull the fire out of the oven. It's almost down to ashes, but it's really hot. And then we'll let the oven start cooling down. We'll form these into pretzels and put them in the lye solution, and then we'll have them ready to go. So as soon as our oven's ready to go, we'll put the pies in at a nice high temperature, and then we'll put the pretzels in at a nice high temperature. So one thing nice about this board, Kim, is the way that these bread bowls are shaped. It allows you to have the bread touch all this surface area. So when we're kneading it this final time, it's not just touching right where our hand is, but it's also touching on the side. So I think we're good with the dough.
It's nice soft dough.
Yeah, it's a beautiful dough. It has all that butter in it.
Yeah.
We're gonna scale this out. We're gonna scale these out to like, I don't know, let's just say 6-ounce pretzels. And then we'll let those rise, and then we'll pull the bread oven. All right, this is the last one. Is that 8 of them?
2, 4, 6, 8.
That's perfect. That's why we scale things out, you know, that none of these things are guesses, that we should be able to measure things, and if they're measured correctly, we ended up with exactly 40 ounces of pretzels. So perfect. I know we probably should have made more.
We need more.
Oh, well. Let's start with 8. Sir.
You're welcome. Thank you. So we typically try to keep everything 18th century, but because this is new, I'm trying to learn. Got my teachers here. We decided to put a modern thermometer inside this oven just to see what it's like. And we're sort of between 350 in the middle and 400 on the outside edges, which is 350 is where you bake a pie, right?
Right.
So
Yeah, everything's gonna be good. We're right at that good pie baking, you know, outer edge, and then we're gonna make these pretzels now, and then we'll put them in the middle, and they're gonna bake at a nice temperature. So let's, I'll show you all how. What we're gonna do is you're gonna pick up the dough, put it in front of you. Okay, then you're gonna kind of roll it out like a hot dog bun. You're gonna roll your hand straight out and straight back, like that. Yep, that's good. Now take 2 hands, keep them level, and then just kind of press on the dough. You're gonna kind of squish it a little bit, and then you're gonna bring your hands coming outwards.
Had a B right
You can use a little bit more pressure there.
A little more pressure.
Yeah, a little bit more pressure. You wanna, yep, keep going, keep going. Don't be afraid of it, it's not gonna break.
I'm awkward as a cub bear with boxing.
That's right, and then keep going outward with your hands. Stretch them out.
Oh, look at you going.
I've done this a couple times.
Will do.
Roll mine out to that long
All
as
right,
well, Jeff.
okay.
All right.
Yeah, we just give it a little oomph.
Zach.
All right. Okay, then you're gonna make a U in front of you.
Okay.
U in front of you.
Okay.
All right, now we take the bottoms, we're gonna cross them over, and we're gonna cross them over again. Okay, and this is the part that all you're gonna do is take this top part and you're gonna flip it over so that it comes to right here. You can watch me first. I'm gonna take this, so I have two little ends sticking out. I'm just gonna take this top part, bring it right there, and I'm just gonna take my thumbs and push it in so that they're combined. The two doughs touch. There you go, perfect. Look at that, Peter, you have a pretzel. Wow. It's a beautiful shape. It's awkward, it's strange, and it's not the only shape. We have plenty of images of pretzels from the 16th century, 17th century, 18th century. Wow. We have images of these. We know what they look like. They do not always look like this. Sometimes they have a whole different design. Sometimes they look more like a bee. Sometimes they look like horns. Sometimes they're double crossed. But they have a bunch of different shapes. This is just the most traditional shape and kind of the easiest to make kinds of shapes. And these are going to be soft pretzels. Now, if we leave them in the oven overnight, if we take a couple, if we don't devour all of these this evening, we can take a couple, leave them in the oven, and they'll become hard pretzels, right? Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are ready to go. We're going to grease the pans real fast. I'm just going to throw a little of this butter on here.
Set them on the pan.
Well, first what we have to do is make them into pretzels. So right now they are just bread dough, you know, in a shape. Okay. What makes them the pretzel is this alkaline solution. Have you ever heard of pearl ash? Mm-hmm. Okay, or potash, right? So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make pearl ash or potash. If we kept boiling this down, we'll just get those sodium salts. So what we're looking for in the end is lye. Okay. So what pretzels are is dipped bread in lye. They can also be boiled. Lye wasn't always used, but it was generally kind of what made it the most distinctive flavor of a pretzel. This potash, this pearl ash is what you notice in early American cookbooks. And Amelia Simmons, she uses pearl ash to make her cakes rise. What it is that it's sodium hydroxide, and it's a sodium that will, when it hits heat, will kind of expand, and it breaks off the carbon gases. And so what you have is a basic leavener. So if you take pearl ash, you make the even more refined, you're getting to what they call baking soda. And then baking soda needs an acid to react. So you take the alkaline and the acid and they make a chemical reaction of off-putting gas. Makes your cake rise.
So I didn't realize the science behind this.
Yeah, we always have more science.
We've been doing this for years when we make bannock.
Okay, you add it in lye?
We add in lye.
Okay.
And that's I guess the leavening agent, right?
Right. Well, the lye itself is acting as a leavening agent. Exactly. It's your basic form.
That's what I thought.
But you need to add in an acid to the alkaline to make it actually open up and release those gases. So we go from pearl ash to baking soda, and then baking soda, we start adding cream of tartar to it. When we add cream of tartar to baking soda, that's when we have the basic foundation of baking powder. So anyways, there's a long history to that, but we definitely start seeing it in the 18th century. But prior to that, the lye was used not so much to make it rise, but just to give it that outer shiny coat. We're going to put a little bit of salt on these so we can salt these up real pretty, and that will finish off our pretzel baking, and then we'll toss them in the oven.
How much salt?
As much as you like.
I like lots of salt.
There you go. Then put lots of salt.
So I was watching you this morning, Kim, picking my green tomatoes. Kathy and I like them a little redder than that, but
Yeah.
You're going to tell me a wee bit of history about green tomatoes here.
Well, the reason why I picked it is because it reminded me of, at the end of the tomato season, you're usually left with all these green tomatoes and like, what do you do with it? And then because we're making apple pie, the fact that apples were so loved by so many nationalities and that it was brought here, apples were just like a treasure. And when you didn't have apples, it was like, well, I want an apple pie, but I don't have apples, but I have green tomatoes. How can I make that taste like an apple? And that's mock apple pie.
So they would cut them up, put them in a pie crust.
Yeah, it's a great way to use it, and surprisingly, it really tastes like an apple pie.
That's crazy. Oh, here comes Jeff.
All right, let's check this out. I think we're ready to go. Let's see what we have going on in here. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna come through with a hot pan. There we have some pretzels.
Yum.
Look at that.
Oh, these are looking nice. Look at those.
Alrighty.
Oh, I'm definitely hungry.
Oh
Yeah.
beautiful. Let's look at the pies. Let's just see what we got going on here. Ooh.
Oh, that looks great.
Oh yeah. Oh, nice
done?
and bubbled up. Oh, I'm
All right.
thinking that's done.
Oh, that looks
I can hear it sizzling.
delicious.
Smell that?
Yeah.
Can you smell that?
Oh yeah. There we are.
All
Oh, we're gonna
righty.
eat well.
Like kings.
Well, this is an oven. This oven is still above 300 degrees. Do we have that corn? Do we want to put some
I'll
corn
go
in there?
fetch the corn.
Yeah, we can just bake some corn in there while we're waiting. Oh, these are good. Corn season too. Oh, hear it sizzling?
You're gonna cook fast.
Oh yeah, listen to that corn sizzling on here. Oh yeah, this is gonna be beautiful.
Madame,
Okay.
thank you.
Ooh, it is hot. Maybe wait a minute.
Yeah, look at that. It's beautiful on this side. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just gorgeous.
Oh my goodness. Isn't that grand?
Cheers to Kelly's place. Excellent. Want to check on the corn? Oh, I'm in.
All right. I'll just have a bite of yours. Hot.
Nice one, crust.